Good afternoon from Tim's Ford State Park, located here in middle south central-ish of the state of Tennessee. My name is Justin, and if you're new to this channel, I'm in the process of visiting all 58 Tennessee state parks and reviewing them for you. So my family and I have spent the last couple of days here, and I'm excited to show you around the park and show you all there is to do. In fact, the slogan for this channel is that God's creation is meant to be explored. And so I hope this encourages you to get out there and explore God's creation. So I'm gonna show you everything there is to do, give it a score between 0 and 100, and let you know if this is a good place to visit. So come along for the journey today. So as you can see from the drone shots, there's not a ton of mountains nearby, but the park is based around the lake. And so a lot of natural beauty and wildlife can be found there on the water and around the water. This is a cool tree that was struck by lightning that Anna Kate and Maddie wanted to explore and touch and see if there was anything living in it. This is really cool. This is a horse owned by the state parks that the rangers use. I had never seen that before. We also got to see some really unique bird species, and on our boat tour we got to see this really beautiful cave that apparently goes hundreds of feet under the hillside there at the water, which I thought would be so cool to explore. Lots of creepy crawlies, and of course, I've said that deer love state parks more than any place on earth. They are free roaming and not really afraid of people, so got to see a lot of deer as well. Also saw a lot of beautiful, bright colored mushrooms throughout our hikes, and so a lot of natural beauty and wildlife to be seen. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Okay, well, it's raining, but we made it to our campsite, and for the first time ever, there's Loki, our pop-up camper. The utilities is on the opposite side as the camper. It's the first time it's happened in 30 state parks or so. Okay, we finally got Loki set up, and it looks like that all of the electrical and utilities and water, all of that is on the right side if you're facing this way, and on the left side if you're facing this way. So that means on one side of the road it's all correct in my opinion, then on the opposite it's all backwards. So very weird. They should always be, if you're facing the campsite, on the right side. So I had a 50-50 chance of getting that right, and we got it wrong this time, but the good Lord held off the rain, and we are about to let the kids in the camper. Heather and I have been setting it up for the last few minutes. Each campsite had a picnic table, a fire ring, a grill, a little tent pad, and down by the water there were cabins. There were cabins right on the water and some just a little bit inland, but if you pick it out correctly, you can find some that will have a great view of the lake. We also got to do some backcountry hiking, and I found one of the backcountry sites, and so this will kind of give you a vibe about what those look like. But on our boat tour, our guide told us that there are at least half a dozen backcountry sites that you can kayak or canoe to, and I got to tell you, I was super jealous of those that were doing that when we went. This is the opposite side of the campground that we were at. This side looked much nicer, looked much newer. There is a beach right there on site, but everything was full even a few months in advance. But with all the opportunities, I'm going to give campsite layout an 8 out of 10. I gotta say, there is a lot to do at Tim's Ford State Park, even if you're only coming for the day. They have all of your pergola and picnic areas, and check out these tables right there at the water. You could have a beautiful view while you eat lunch and hang out with your family and friends, and you can fish there at the water, go on hikes. There's really a lot to do. There's also plenty of playgrounds there at the park for the little ones to jump around and play. I also found this abandoned part of the park, which was a little unusual. Kind of reminded me of like in a post-apocalyptic kind of scenario, and I go more into that in the deep dive. But there at the lake, though, you'll find swings and benches, and they have a public boat ramp with plenty of parking right there on the lake. And so if you have a boat, come on and bring it. You can also rent one, or what we did, we actually paid $15 a person to go on a boat tour. And it was nice to get out on the water, to do a little exploring, to hear from the guide who talked about the different fishing that can be had there at the lake, as well as other activities. There at the marina, they have a great little ice cream bar and pizza shop, and we also spent some time at a beach. This one is on the lake in a neighborhood right down the road, and it was medium busy, but very fun. Our kids swam and played for a long time, but I found out as we were driving there that there's actually a beach right next to the other campground that we didn't stay at, which I hated because it actually looked more peaceful and a little more fun in my opinion. But you can see, you can camp right there on the water, which is so cool. All right, we are getting towards the end of the Lost Creek Trail, and there are at least 2 suspension bridges, which is really fun. Maybe half a dozen regular bridges. I'd put it at like a 4 out of 10 on the difficulty level. Truman, who's 4, is not having any trouble at all. So I think it ends with a lookout. So we'll find out here in a minute. This is the Nature Center right by the Welcome Center as you enter the park, and it was great for us because it was pouring down raining, and so we got to go inside and stay dry, and we were in there for at least an hour exploring all of the nature activities, all of the learning activities. You got to kind of touch and feel all the different types of snake skins and animal skins and turtle shells and minerals and fossils. They also had some live reptiles and amphibians and fish in there. They let us feed the fish. It was a lot of fun. There's a lot to do there and at the park. I'm going to give activities a 15 out of 20. They had my favorite types of bathrooms there at our side of the campground, which is single person use, so you have plenty of privacy. Bathrooms get a 7 out of 10. The park was a little difficult to get to as there are no major interstates nearby, but the roads were well maintained and the drive was pretty, so I'm going to give drivability a 6 out of 10. Up next is the staff. We talked with park rangers as well as volunteers and the Welcome Center staff. Everyone was super kind and friendly. They gave great advice, were great with the kids, and the staff gets a 9 out of 10. There at the campground, there was a nice camp store which had normal camping supplies as well as some snacks. There is free Rivian EV charging there at the campground by the Welcome Center. I don't know if anything could have prepared me for how awesome this Welcome Center is. I took a ton of footage because they had everything you could possibly need for snacks, gifts, souvenirs, camping supplies, and everywhere in between. There was nice stuff. Everything was very reasonably priced, and I hope that someone from Tennessee State Parks is watching this video because this is what a real Welcome Center should look like. I was blown away. We probably spent 20 or 30 minutes just shopping. there at the Welcome Center. It was so cool. And we actually spent quite a bit of money because of all that they offered. We got our kids some stuffies and souvenirs there. I got a survival bracelet because it was like $1, and they're normally like $20 for those. We got our sticker for the camper. They had great shirts, so much there. So even while you are a little bit out in the middle of nowhere, they carry so much in stock there at the Welcome Center that you really don't have to go off site to get what you need. And so I just spent a ton of time shooting this footage because I wanted to give people a realistic view of what this park offers. So even though there's not much nearby, I'm going to give nearby amenities a solid 8 out of 10. Between the East Tennessee hills and the lake itself, I felt that the park was pretty unique and gets a great 7 out of 10. Up next is cost. It did cost a little more than usual, but you get a lot more value for your money with all that there is to do and see. So cost gets a 7 out of 10. You put everything together and Tim's Forge State Park gets a 75 out of 100.
Ready? Right. You take one side and I'll take another. We're going to put it right next to the fire. Right there. Oh, hold on. We got to make sure it goes straight. Does that look good, Daddy?
Yeah.
Time for the next adventure.
Yeah, time for the next adventure. Hey, thank you so much for watching today's video. If you want to see more about this Tennessee State Park, then click on the link that's popping up right now for my deep dive, where I go into a lot more about all that the park has to offer. And please like and subscribe so you don't miss a single state park video as we visit all 57 here in the state of Tennessee. God bless you, and remember, God's creation is meant to be explored.